Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Makiko Utsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are our topics for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so make sure you stay with us. So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Utsuda-san, what's the topic this time?
Yes, this time we'll hear from the top executive of a snack maker. But before we get to the interview, I'd like to introduce some of the most well-known snack makers in Japan.
I see there are all kinds of snacks in front of us.
Yes, they all look very tasty. Now, each manufacturer specializes in specific genres of snacks. And first of all, known for their potato chips is Karubi. And in 2012, the annual sales were around $1.8 billion.
Well, I've heard that many tourists from abroad who visit Japan, they take home these potato chips type snacks as gifts back to their countries.
Yes.
And in front of them, they must be rice crackers.
Yes, you're right. Now, they're made by Kameda Seika, which had about $800 million in sales last year. And they're all rice-based. And as you can see, there's quite a variety out there.
Yes.
And beside them are snacks made by Meiji and Morinaga. And Meiji mainly makes chocolate-type products, while Morinaga focuses on biscuits and candies. And Meiji had sales of nearly $3 billion last year, while Morinaga brought in $1.5 billion.
And behind those are products from Lotte, and they're known for chewing gum.
Yes, they are. And they also operate restaurants and leisure facilities, but generated about $2 billion in revenue last year just from its snacks and chilled sweets businesses. And right in front of us are the snacks made by Ezaki Guriko, the company which we'll be hearing from today. And sales last year nearly reached $3 billion. And they're known for coming up with long-selling and unique products.
Well, with so many companies in the industry, I imagine competition must be fierce.
Yes, it is. Now, the snacks market in Japan is about $32 billion right now, and sales have been slowly declining with the shrinking population, among other factors. And so obviously, each company is exploring various strategies to find out the next growth driver, the next hit product. And we had a chance to speak with the president of Ezaki Guriko, Katsuhisa Ezaki, to learn more about their strategy.
Executive Insight. Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Inside a major supermarket are shelves lined with snacks made by Ezaki Guriko. These are pretzel sticks. And these are those same stick covered in chocolate. They're called Pokki, the company's top-selling product launched half a century ago. 500 million boxes are sold around the world every year. Beside them are snacks made by South Korean and other Japanese rivals. Companies from various countries are competing for shelf space. An employee of Guriko who travels across Asia had this to say.
Only fast-selling products remain. To survive, they have to become big sellers.
Taking charge of this fierce battle is third-generation president Katsuhisa Ezaki.
How did the name Guriko come about?
We put in a nutrient called glycogen, pronounced gurikogen in Japanese, in a caramel. We took the first 5 letters and named the company Guriko. Glycogen is a source of energy and helps to adjust a person's blood sugar level. We wanted children to take more of the nutrient for their health, so we put it inside a caramel snack.
Ezaki Guriko was founded in 1922 by the current president's grandfather, Riichi Ezaki, as a small shop in Osaka. The founder set his sights on a nutrient called glycogen found in oyster soup. He mixed it into caramel and began selling the product as a snack food. That caramel is still being sold 90 years later.
Was a glycogen-infused snack considered a unique idea at the time?
I believe so. Back then, there were lots of candy-type snacks, but none with a nutritious or healthy concept. We were probably the first to incorporate this concept in candy snacks and caramel.
You have a wide variety of products, but are there any standards they have to meet to be considered as Guriko products?
Our basic idea is that if we're going to put a product out, we're going to continue selling it forever. That's how we develop products, but it doesn't always work out. Generic or copycat ones simply don't go through.
Selling them forever is quite a high aim.
That's the goal we have, but it doesn't always work out.
To sell a product forever. That spirit has helped the company develop a series of long-selling snacks. This is one of them, launched in 1933. 2 biscuits sandwiching a cream paste. Containing a large amount of lactobacillus, they are marketed as a healthy snack. This popsicle, introduced in 1963, is another long seller. Last year, the company opened a facility where visitors can see the snack-making process in action. Operating 24 hours a day, this factory makes 70,000 boxes of snacks a day. Since starting factory tours, reservations have been booked 6 months ahead. Visitors not only get to see the production line, but also have a chance to enjoy other activities, such as decorating a big pocky stick with sugary toppings. They are no less demanding in the training of staff at the visitors' facility.
We train them for several months, in everything including how they speak to visitors. We're fully booked 6 months ahead, so we want to meet those expectations.
And as the factory tour comes to a close, this is what visitors get to see. A space filled with numerous small toys. They are in fact freebies that come with the snacks. Toys throughout the decades. Over 20,000 types have been created until now, with 4 billion reaching the hands of customers.
Were these freebies also a new concept?
We didn't think of freebies as a way to sell caramel. The caramel and toys are a single product. They're not freebies. Children get satisfaction from eating caramel. They play with the toys and get psychological satisfaction. That's what makes it completely different from other caramel.
I imagine snacks are eaten primarily by children or young people, but the population is shrinking, so how does the food industry see this situation?
Unlike the US or Europe, very few adults in Japan eat snack foods. If you compare the per capita consumption of chocolate and biscuits in the US and Europe with Japan, there's quite a big gap. The difference is that adults in those regions eat snacks. So even if children don't eat them, we can shift our target to adults.
So are you developing tastes and packaging aimed at adults?
Yes, we're working on products aimed at adults, especially older people. We want to raise consumption across all segments.
We visited a store frequented by older consumers. At the snack food section, we asked what the top-selling chocolates are.
Meiji is standard. Morinaga too.
Products with wide appeal are consistently at the top of sales rankings. Meanwhile, Pocky is overwhelmed. Amid the variety of rival products, this long seller is struggling.
Pocky seems to be more for young people.
Appealing to a wide range of consumers, from young people to the elderly, is critical. The company is countering by expanding its selection. They've even developed a thinner version of Pocky. What's more, a high-end Pocky costing over 3 times the price of a regular box has been put on the market. The idea is to keep their long-selling product on shelves while expanding the target customer.
How have customers overseas responded to this packaging?
In fact, in the US, for instance, some people who see the package for the first time think it's a pack of cigarettes. When asked what they know about Glico or what image they have, not one person identifies us as a snack company. Some even thought we were an electric company.
In a bid to revamp promotional activities abroad, Mr. Ezaki began implementing a new strategy from last year. This is a TV commercial for Indonesia.
This is for Indonesia. Glico Thailand entered the market and have already started selling products exported from Thailand. So despite the fact that Pocky was launched about 40 years ago, our markets haven't expanded that much. In Indonesia, we were selling snacks through high-end shops. We've been following this strategy all along. So, to expand, we started full-scale efforts from last year to invest in marketing.
Glico Thailand was set up in 1970. They began entering overseas markets at an early stage. So why has brand recognition lagged? One factor was their sales channels. Back in Ho Chi Minh City, company employees carried out an in-depth survey of local markets. People on motorbikes stop in front of shops. The clerks take their order and hand over the products. Because of costly parking fees and concerns about motorcycle theft, small retailers like these are widespread in Vietnam.
If we don't tackle this, we can't tackle Vietnam. If there are 100 shops, we have to negotiate 100 times. They run a cash business, so they'll only carry products that sell.
So last year, the company bought into Kim Do Corporation, the country's biggest biscuit maker, and began using their distribution network. Their plan is to build up retail networks step by step and raise brand recognition. They also negotiated with movie theaters to set up kiosks. This new strategy has been underway since autumn this year.
To get customers to know about Pocky, you're taking a very meticulous and low-key strategy.
We're working extremely hard.
Is it different in each country?
We want retailers to get our products as quickly as possible. We have to think about how to do that and do it efficiently. So methods are different in each country.
Is your goal to make Pocky a global brand?
We have to set our sights high. If your aim is low, even if you become motivated, the results will be limited. Setting aside the question of practicality, the important thing is the effort you put into achieving that goal.
Grandfather, father, and son. A brand built up by the founding family. To become a true global brand, the company will face an even bigger challenge.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
As the future evolves, Toyota is envisioning a more interconnected life where information and energy flow seamlessly throughout the globe. The road ahead will require diverse and eco-friendly mobility solutions. It is on this path that our small choices lead to big changes. Life. Connected. Toyota.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we introduce you an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Utsuda-san, I understand our next topic is paternity leave.
Yes, that's right. Now, fathers taking leave from work to help out the home and raise children is becoming a big topic of discussion in Japan because it's seen as a way to increase women in the workforce and spur economic growth.
Well, I've heard that Christine Lagarde, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, has also made specific references to this issue.
She has. Now, for paternity leave to actually work, it's necessary for men to help in the care and raising of children. But if you look at the statistics, it's only about 2% of men that have actually taken time off from work. And that's an extremely low number compared to other countries. So now we have a report on what's being done to encourage more men to take time off work and help out in the home.
Walking quickly down the street is the Ardier family. This is the first day of paternity leave for the father.
I'd be grateful if he's able to experience the joy and difficulties of spending time one-on-one with our daughter.
Takafumi Ardier, who saw his wife off to work, is a deputy manager at the Tokyo headquarters of insurance firm Nippon Life. On the first day of his week-long paternity leave, he spends time with his daughter at a nearby park.
If possible, I want to try tucking my daughter in bed during this period, but I also don't want to be a burden on my wife.
During the first few months after his daughter's birth, Mr. Ardier had no intention of taking time off work.
I think it's quite difficult for the company unless the conditions are right.
Parental leave in Japan is the right for mothers and fathers in principle to take time off work in the first year after the birth of a child. During that time, half of their monthly salary is paid out of employment insurance. However, the percentage of men who use the system remains low. This October, the government began awarding companies such as Kao Corporation that encourage male employees to take parental leave.
We would be very grateful if they can publicize their know-how in childcare support and become role models for other companies.
Amid this, Nippon Life has set a goal of encouraging 100% of male employees to take paternity leave this fiscal year, a big jump from 1% last year. The week before taking his leave, Mr. Arie was busy handing over his duties to his staff.
I'd like to ask Mr. Takenaka to handle the system costs and Mr. Sunaga to do the scheduling.
After deciding to take leave in May, he began coordinating with his staff from August based on a plan he drew up.
I have to perform at a level higher than that in my regular work. And I think it will help me grow.
The company says paternity leave by senior executives gives young employees an opportunity to grow and improves the capabilities of the entire office.
I hope that by men taking leave, it'll encourage others to do the same and create a good workplace for both men and women.
A section manager of this department has already encouraged 3 of his staff of 16 to take paternity leave.
I'm like a child-rearing boss. It's like losing my right hand, so it hurts even for just a week. I want everyone in my office, including the men, to understand what raising a child means.
Those who encourage their staff's child-rearing efforts are being referred to as child-rearing bosses. They say it helps build up the managerial abilities of senior employees. The company also holds regular events for employees with children, allowing those in different departments to talk about issues they may have at home and work.
It's a problem if I get sick. If I catch the flu, my work will shut down completely.
Do you arrange your work in a special way? The time I have to leave is in my notebook, so I set up my schedule in reverse.
One of the participants, Mr. Kotera, also took leave in June. He says taking care of his child changed his perspective of work hours.
Since I took leave, if I have to attend an event for my kid at 7 p.m., I aim to leave the office by 6 and make a schedule based on that. My overtime hours also fell, or more like I cut back.
The company has started by encouraging employees to take a short leave of about a week. As of August, 51% had signed up.
I think a big factor is the negative perception that taking leave will somehow affect their evaluation. Partly to allay those concerns, we began by encouraging people to take a week off, which is the least disruptive amount of time.
Some companies are already giving fathers longer parental leave. Shuhei Nakatani took 1 month off this March.
The government pays half of my basic salary, and the company pays the other half as long as it's a month, so I can maintain my regular income.
At Benesse, the average leave taken by male employees is about a month. In addition to employment insurance, the company pays half the monthly salary, encouraging fathers to take more time off. Mr. Nakatani says the long leave made him realize something. While using baby study materials with his child, he recognized the need for marketing geared toward parents.
Parents won't get it if you just show the materials. We're making a conscious effort now to promote how these materials will help children succeed in regular exams and classes by using pictures.
Mr. Nakatani is in charge of marketing high school study materials. He redesigned a website explaining the contents of those materials and made it easier to understand for parents by using more pictures.
I was in the position of choosing as a parent, so that experience has come alive.
One small firm has succeeded in encouraging all of its male employees to take parental leave, despite lacking the manpower of major firms.
We're installing a new crossroad sign at the intersection now.
EarthCreate in Gifu Prefecture is in the business of setting up road signs. Yuki Kameyama is on site. After finishing the day's work, he returns to the office and changes into a suit. Then he begins working at his desk.
I'm based at sales headquarters. Today I'm stepping in for Mr. Kato, who usually works out in the field but is on parental leave.
At this company, all employees start out in the field before moving into sales, so anyone at headquarters can fill in for those on leave. We visited the home of Mr. Kato. He took off work to help his wife, who's caught cold.
Somebody else filled in for me, so I told my company I'll do the same when that person can't make it. If I finish work out in the field early, I can go to the office. I want to contribute my skills.
Although they have a staff of just 20, all 8 male employees have taken parental leave in the past 5 years. Aside from regular paid leave, they provide 14 days of paid paternity leave. Their program is more flexible than the national system, and leave days don't need to be taken all at once. And since they are recognized by the prefectural government as a child care supporting business, every time an employee takes parental leave, they receive a subsidy, of which part is used to pay the salary.
This is physically demanding work, so some quit soon after being hired. What allowed us to hire people from different backgrounds and give them technical training was the parental leave system.
Companies offering parental leave as a way to boost employee morale are continuing to expand.
Well, I really think it's wonderful what these companies are doing, but compared to the rest of the world, there's still a long way to go.
Yes, I think you're right. Now, one of the best examples is Sweden, where parents, both the father and mother together, can get a total of 16 months of paid leave until their child turns 8.
So even if the mother and father split that time, they can get 8 months of leave each.
Yes.
So a policy like that would surely encourage people to have children, wouldn't it?
That seems to be the case. I have some related data here. It's interesting. It shows the percentage of couples that have more than one child based on the amount of time fathers spend on household chores and child raising on off days. So as you can see, the more hours spent on household chores and child raising by fathers increases the probability of couples having more children.
Well, for countries like Japan that are facing an ever-shrinking population, this kind of data is something we really need to consider.
I agree. So, Asian countries, including Japan, lag behind Europe in these kind of concepts.
I agree. Well, Utsuda-san, I understand our next topic is mobile sales.
Yes, it is. Now, mobile sales or traveling salesmen have been around since ancient times around the world, but this time we'll be showing you a modern incarnation of this form of business.
Tama Newtown in Tama City, Tokyo. The community is rapidly graying, and many of the supermarkets that once dotted the area have moved away. Elderly residents left stranded are being referred to as shopping refugees. In one section of the neighborhood, a large truck arrives. On the side is the logo for Ito-Yokado. Goods are swiftly unloaded. Then,
This is the Ito-Yokado mobile sales delivery service.
this is a mobile sales service launched by major supermarket chain Ito-Yokado this July.
This is a condensed version of our regular stores. We have about 500 items.
But there don't seem to be 500 products here.
Yes, if you look in the truck, you'll see the selection.
The sales area is inside the truck. Peering inside are rows of refrigerated spaces lined with fresh produce. There's a wide variety of fruits, including those that are ready to eat. In the back are meats and seafood.
These are difficult to offer through mobile sales. It wasn't possible in the past.
What's more, the prices are the same as those in physical stores. There are even some discounted items.
I can't buy it. There isn't anything like that. I just got enough meat to use today. The supermarket's too far.
Since many of the residents are elderly, vegetables can also be bought by the bunch or separately. The pre-prepared dishes are single portions as well. Also popular are household goods.
I buy my tissue paper and toilet paper here. I don't have to carry a bag when it's this close.
By offering a wide selection of goods at reasonable prices and traveling to places lacking in supermarkets, Ito-Yokado has captured new demand through mobile sales. The long line of people at the cash register is proof of that. Even the baskets of the elderly customers are packed. In fact, the people referred to as shopping refugees are big consumers.
Shopping can often feel inconvenient, so we believe there's potential demand. We want to help local customers while also building a successful company and business. That's our ideal.
Mobile sales were launched 2 years ago in Nagano Prefecture and are already profitable. Applying that experience to Tokyo, they're aiming to scoop up demand in areas without shopping facilities and expand the mobile sales business.
We've gotten requests from the Hachioji area, so we're thinking of gradually expanding our offerings in the city.
In Tama Newtown, a light truck of another company runs along the street. There's a logo of the Keio Railway. 2 employees come out. They walk around the area.
There aren't any supermarkets nearby, so it's not that easy to go shopping every day.
They are here to find out the shopping situation in the area.
We want to start mobile sales from the autumn, so we're making preparations and finding locations.
A railway company doing mobile sales? But why?
By providing a service to make shopping more convenient, we want to revitalize local areas. Also, if people live along the Keio line, they'll use our trains more frequently.
With train passengers seen to fall amid the shrinking and aging population, railway operators are moving into mobile sales as a way to drive growth. They've enlisted the help of Keio Store, a group company with experience in retail, and are in the process of selecting products.
The milk is also a private label brand called VMark. The main products will be these small sizes.
In addition to Keio Store's products, they also plan to offer goods and services from other group firms such as Keio Department Store.
We don't think of mobile sales as a standalone business. We want to promote other services of the group company and generate various ripple effects such as a greater utilization of our railway.
A residential area in Kanagawa Prefecture. A large bus arrives. It has an unusually flashy design.
It's a mobile sales bus called a moving salon.
Inside, the design resembles a high-end shop. On sale are pearl necklaces costing over $6,000. And a $4,000 fur coat. Expensive jewelry and clothing. This is in fact a mobile sales bus operated by cosmetics maker Pola.
Miss Saito, thank you for visiting us again. Welcome.
Door-to-door sales agents called Pola Ladies, who number 140,000 nationwide, bring over their regular customers to the bus.
Wow, I didn't know the inside of the bus looked like this. This is the changing room. Wow, it feels like the inside of a plane, like business class.
The Pola Ladies chat with the customers while introducing the products.
I know you always wear pants. This has a stretchy fabric and is comfortable to wear. The color suits you. Really? It makes me look thinner.
She buys a slightly pricey pair of pants without hesitation.
I depend on them for skincare, so I have a tremendous amount of trust in what they recommend.
This relationship of trust is what makes customers buy product after product.
Made in Italy. Italy! I'm a woman after all, so I'll buy it if I like it.
One customer has bought 3 items, including shoes.
They're really comfortable. I just bought them, but will wear them home.
On a busy day, sales reach $30,000. Last year, they generated $3 million in revenue.
We have Pola Ladies nationwide, so our business area is everywhere. There are many advantages to visiting customers by bus.
The company believes the potential demand in these regions is especially high.
With the closure of department stores in many regions, we believe customers look forward to our salon, where they can see genuine products. We've doubled our operating days and are aiming for $5 million in sales, so we're working together with our local sales agents.
Major companies are increasingly turning to mobile sales. While unearthing demand across Japan, they may help inject a new energy in local economies.
Well, Utsuda-san, with the population aging rapidly in Japan, I imagine these type of mobile sales will become more widespread.
I agree, yes. And actually, a certain Japanese food commonly eaten today, it was originally sold through mobile vendors as a fast food. But do you know what it is?
Something you can carry, I say, onigiri, the rice balls?
The rice ball, you're actually very close. Well, actually, it's sushi, so you're very close. You can say they're pieces of fish on top of rice balls. But we have a picture over here, and it shows from around the beginning of the 19th century, there were outdoor stalls like these selling Japanese-style fast food like sushi and soba noodles, and they started appearing in towns and cities. But since there was no refrigeration at the time, obviously there's no raw fish there. The sushi fish were dried ones.
Oh, well, it's kind of amazing when you think that a food sold in outdoor stalls has become one of the most well-known Japanese dishes in the world. Well, after the break, we'll be bringing you a report on one of Japan's biggest ports in Yokohama.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do this? We make things like this possible through the power of chemistry. We're the Kaiteki Company, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Sou uma pessoa comum. Eu gosto de apreciar todos os momentos do meu dia. Quanto isso pode me motivar? Como eu posso me manter focada? Tudo ao meu redor, incluindo os momentos do meu dia a dia, é o que eu preciso para me concentrar para a minha luta de 90 minutos. Quero dar esperança às pessoas. A better life, a better world.
Panasonic.
For Earth, for life, Kubota.
One day has finished, and one new day has started on somewhere in the world. Kubota supports every moment somewhere out in the world. By the mechanization of agriculture, by the maintenance of water infrastructure, by the latest environmental engineering. We support a prosperous life for humans while protecting the environment of this beautiful Earth. Food, water, and the environment link the world. Kubota.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we bring you an episode of Industrial Heritage.
Yes. Now, by industrial heritage here, we're talking about historical industries that supported the development of specific regions. And they can refer to a variety of industries such as mines or factories or railroads. Industrial heritage sites are included in the list of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites, and some of the more famous examples, we have some pictures here, are the silver mines in Bolivia and the iron works in Germany, and also the Iron Bridge Gorge in the UK, and it's considered the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution.
So today we'll be exploring how Yokohama developed into one of the top ports in Japan. Take a look.
As one of the centers of international trade, the port of Yokohama has been referred to as the Gateway of Japan. Its history goes back 150 years, when the country opened up its doors to foreign traders in the mid-1800s.
A large ship has arrived. There's a lot of energy here. It's truly a gateway to Japan.
Yokohama Port was opened in 1859. In fact, it is where Commodore Matthew Perry of the U.S. first made landfall in his mission to establish trade relations. After the opening of the port, merchants from Western countries rushed in, marking the start of Japan's international trade. The country's modernization drive originated in Yokohama.
Ports are where people, goods, money, and various things come together. What was the driving force that transformed a small fishing village into Japan's leading port? This time, we explore the origins of a 150-year-old port that continues to evolve.
We visited the customs office to learn more about the port's origins.
This is a drawing of Yokohama right after the opening of the port.
This is Yokohama? It's just the sea and mountains.
It was completely different. At the time, it was just a village of 101 farming and fishing households. It was a sleepy village with a sprinkling of residences.
Why was Yokohama chosen as the first port to be opened up?
The coast off Yokohama is deep, making it possible for large cargo ships to anchor. That's one reason.
The feudal government at the time wanted to absorb foreign culture and technologies and made every effort to build up the port. This is how the port looked when it was first opened. As trade grew, it became clear that this small wharf was insufficient to handle the volume. So the authorities decided to build a modern port, which came to be regarded as the largest in the Orient. To allow large ships to berth, the harbor was dredged to a depth of 10 meters. The blue lines are the tracks for freight trains. The port spreads out across a wide area. They also built a warehouse to store imported goods. The original structure can still be seen directly facing the port. Comprised of two buildings, it is called the Yokohama Red Brick Warehouse.
What were the features of this warehouse?
They put a lot of effort into making it fireproof. This is the fireproof door. It's a thick steel folding door, with another one for double safety.
It's quite solidly made.
This is where they stored the goods.
To ensure the safety of valuable trade goods, they designed the building to be earthquake and fire resistant, features extremely rare at the time.
At the time, Yokohama Port was seen as the gateway of Japan. As the face of the country, the government considered it a matter of national pride to incorporate all the best technologies.
This must be the freight train rail.
Yes, this track carried luxury items of the day, such as wool and Western paper. From here, they were transported all the way to Yokohama Station, which is known as Sakuragicho Station today, and on to Tokyo and other areas. Foreign goods unloaded at the port would be carried throughout Japan. It was the point of contact with the world outside.
The Red Brick Warehouse is now filled with about 50 shops, attracting 5 million visitors annually. It has been reborn into a popular tourist spot, especially among young Japanese. The fireproof door and other original features have been left intact, with the historical heritage harnessed as a tourism resource. So what were the primary products traded immediately after the opening of the port?
This is what the inside of a typical shop looked like. A Japanese merchant is using an abacus as he negotiates with foreign traders. This must be raw silk. There are piles of it behind. It seems to have been a big commodity.
Raw silk made up 60% of Japan's exports at the time. Demand grew after European production fell due to outbreaks of silkworm diseases, propelling sales of Japanese silk.
In Yokohama, where a new age was dawning, one silk merchant succeeded in turning foresight into fortune in a single generation. His name was Zenzaburo Hara.
Located a stone's throw from central Yokohama is the Sankei-en Garden. Covering an area of 175,000 square meters, it is regarded as one of the most beautiful Japanese gardens. This vast property was acquired in the 1800s by a silk trader named Zenzaburo Hara. Born in Saitama Prefecture in 1827, he dropped out of a temple-run school at the age of 14 and began helping out the family business. Quick-witted, he built up a fortune and eventually became a member of parliament.
Zenzaburo had a knack for silk making. He grew up being taught by his parents, and not only had skill, but was very good at telling good silk from bad silk. Local people still talk about his strong devotion to work.
Zenzaburo wasn't content simply making silk, so he began traveling around central Japan.
He would go to Ashikaga, Isezaki, and Kiryu, places that use silk to make textiles, to sell his product. On the way home, he would buy those textiles and more silk and sell them in his hometown. That's how he made money. From early morning to late evening, he would walk from place to place. By doing so, he became extremely well known in those areas. He then took that experience and applied it in Yokohama.
Hearing that trade had commenced with foreign countries, Zenzaburo sensed a business opportunity and came to Yokohama. That was just 3 months after the opening of the port.
Zenzaburo opened shop and, using his connections with farms, was able to put in large orders that far exceeded rivals, earning him a strong reputation in the business community. 4 years later, his shop had grown into one of the leading silk trading firms in Yokohama. Zenzaburo and Sankei, who steadily built up connections with producers and set their sights on an overseas expansion earlier than most merchants, cornered success in an age of unprecedented change. The port of Yokohama has been the backbone of Japan's trade with the world since feudal times. 150 years have passed since modernization dawned on a small fishing village. The rise of Yokohama into an international city is founded on the tireless efforts of Japan's early entrepreneurs.
Well, Utsuda-san, until recently it was natural to assume that old structures would be demolished, but preserving them in this way is also important.
Yes, I agree. The term industrial heritage points to facilities and structures that are related to the industry. So until now, they were often demolished in the rush towards urbanization or left abandoned and unattended without any consideration of their intrinsic value. But at the same time, there have been calls for better preservation of these sites.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. And we have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.
Matsui & Company.
Together, let's generate happiness. Let's raise the world to new heights. Let's carry our dreams further. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba. Together, let's create better healthcare. Let's develop a sustainable environment. Let's give children a promising tomorrow. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba.
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you'll experience the unforgettable. Look, enjoy, be amazed, and be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about. Japan's latest landmark, Tokyo Skytree.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.